Okay. Hello, can you guys hear me? Let's see if this is working. Gotta see. I've got my lav mic on, but yeah, we're working. All right. Welcome to the live stream. This is one that I kind of sporadically have done. You know, I posted earlier about being live in 2.5 hours, and I have a mead I want to go ahead and bottle. They're finished bottling, I should say, and it's the peppermint mead. This is like 4.5, maybe 5 gallons of mead. This is a 6-gallon container, so maybe 4.5 is a better estimate. And I'm going to be hopefully putting it all into different bottles. I have beer bottles that I normally recycle from drinking other beers and then clean off labels. And then I am using a couple wine bottles, 375 milliliters. I have a regular size wine bottles and swing tops and just a bunch of various things that I plan to use. And I'm excited to get this finished so I can go ahead and use the container for something else because I've got other projects going on. So, hello there. What flavor is the mead? This is the peppermint mead, the big one that I use 216 candy canes for. It's been sitting for a while. And I've already bottled part of it. As you can see, there was not as much headspace on it before, and I want to finish bottling it. So, a couple things I'm using. I have a very long hose, and that's why this is so tall. It's because I have to go from a larger hose to a smaller hose, which then connects to my bottling wand. So it's kind of a plethora of hoses to use, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and get started real simply. The hardest part of this is always trying to not hit the fan, but then also getting the first one started. Once it's started, it's not that hard. So we'll see if I can figure this out. One-handed bottle wanding is not the easiest thing. All right. Did I get it? Whoa, making lots of noise. There we go. Okay. The first one is always interesting. I always fill my bottles up to the very top right before it fills, and that normally gives me the max amount of mead in each bottle for me to use, which is very nice. I'm using, this is a canning pot, and making a mess. A canning pot, and it has been really nice for filling up bottles because whenever I spill, like I just did, I can normally just clean out the bucket and not have to clean up my table like I have previously. So, while I'm doing this, I would love to chat with you guys. I want to hear what you guys have going on in your world of mead. What are you making? This is a great opportunity for us to all kind of hear what's going on. And you know what's happening in my world generally, because if you watch my videos, you can see all of my own mead things I make. And you can see my cat in the background hanging out. Buddy and I just started brewing. What are you guys making? Sorry, I'll read your comments as soon as I can. Hopefully not going overboard with bottles. Could you do a video on mead smells? Michael, yeah, I could do one. You want specifically like just talking about smelling mead and like what to go for, what to look for, or what? I'd love some more info. I got to try my first mead 2 days ago. It was a strawberry vanilla, but since I did the strawberry and vanilla in primary, it didn't add much taste. How many strawberries and what'd you do for vanilla? I wonder if your flavoring was just not quite strong enough. We have first rack next weekend. Going to start a 5-gallon batch. Haven't figured out what flavors yet. That's the best way to go, in my opinion. A traditional is perfect for just getting started because you can make whatever you want with it ultimately. And honestly, in my experience, have found that adding all of your fruit and all of your other flavors into the secondary tends to give a better flavor overall. I have one traditional mead, one strawberry mellow, and one Sizer bean. Nice. Sizers are great. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to catch all those. Hello. Bottled a Celtic Druid today. Lemon spiced mead. I've actually never heard of that before. That's interesting. Is it good in your opinion, or is it weird? It sounds like it could be pretty good, kind of like a tea-based mead. How long do you let your meads age? It depends on the mead, but most of the time, because I have enough stuff going on, I'm able to let mine age for 6 months to a year before I bottle them. This one is, oh gosh, I gotta think back to when I made it. This one, I think it is at 6 months now. So this one's 6 months old. And now I'm actually getting to bottle the rest of it. I wanted to bottle it to get it off of the air being on top because I was a little afraid of oxygenation. I did 2.5 pounds of strawberry and 1 vanilla bean. It smelled a lot like strawberry, but I mostly tasted just the honey. Strawberries are a hard fruit to use, as I found in using it my own way. I did the strawberry hydromel, and I mean that thing died because of my own failure, to be honest. But the strawberry flavor was not insane, which was interesting to me. I thought it would be very strong, but I think strawberries just don't have too powerful a flavor. There are just some fruits that you use that you have to use such a large quantity to get the flavor you want that ultimately, they're not that they're not worth doing, but you just have to really anticipate doing them because it is kind of harder to make a strong strawberry mead or any other various flavor mead that light fruit, well, light fruit generally are harder to get the flavor out of. Is there a difference between aging in a carboy and in a bottle? So there is a slight difference, and the difference comes in that when you age in a carboy, it all ages the exact same way. If you age in a carboy, this is why we have this little thing. Maybe. My bottling wand came unattached. That's not good. Goodness, what was I saying? I've lost my train of thought. Oh, bottle aging versus carboy aging. Aging in a carboy, you will ultimately get the same flavor changes, so to speak, because you are there's no alternative like environmental effects going on in different ways. But that can happen with bottles. Sometimes some bottles will get warmer than others, and then you run into the issue of one bottle tastes different, and that's where like wines can be completely different based on how they've been aged. So let me clean up my mess real fast. I will try and answer questions as I can. And I also have a what's it called? Siphon full of yeast right now from the bottom of this. I somehow knew this was going to happen, but I didn't do anything about it. Okay, I've missed a lot of things. Have you ever done a 1 gallon batch with 1.5 pounds of honey? I would say that's a hydromel-ish range, and I have done 1 hydromel previously. That probably puts you at, 6 to 9% alcohol volume. But I have only done 1 of those. Hello from England. I currently have blueberry mead going on. That's awesome. I love my blueberry mead. Came out pretty good in my opinion. I was very pleased with it. And I'm definitely planning to make another one. Almost cleaned all this up. I'll have to fix that later. Do you normally use 3 pounds of honey per gallon? Yes, I do, Steve. That is the standard, really industry standard. I'll be starting a brew, first time doing it. Hope it goes well. I bet it will. It'll be awesome. Should make some moonshine out of it, really. Good. Would it happen if that uses siphon? You run the risk of oxygenating your mead, meaning it gets too much air contact, which that can cause a problem. What's your favorite pine sol scent to smell after cleaning up spilled mead? Mine is lemon. Yeah, you know, probably the same, I would say. Now I need to move these bottles out of the way and get new ones in. Let's see, answer a question. Celtic Druid is interesting, starts with honey notes and I taste lemon. Interesting. That is, that sounds like something that'd be fun to make. It's very experimental. Hello, Elijah. Welcome to the live stream. I've spilled a lot of mead tonight already, so unfortunately, we lost some, but it's okay. I got them all over the bottles because I had that big explosion to where now I gotta clean up the bottles before I put labels on, and I have just a few labels to use, but now I'm really gonna have to clean them up. All right, so now I'm gonna put more in here. These are like wine bottles and flip tops that I really like. I like the flip top because frankly, they're nice looking bottles, and if you give a gift of mead to somebody, generally if you give it in a bottle that looks clear, I feel like they tend to be more enthused, which I'm definitely going to have to use more of my beer bottles that are way behind here in a moment. Hi from Thailand, welcome, that's awesome. That's so crazy. Man, it must be pretty late. Or pretty early, I guess, here in Thailand. After primary, when you degas the mead and step beat it, do you sanitize stirring? I don't have my thing here. Oh, there it is. I use a Star San solution with distilled water that is in this sprayer. Basically, it just keeps the distilled water keeps the sanitizing really Star San from going bad and the water from getting funky, and I just spray things. It's super easy. Isn't it past your bedtime? Not yet. How was the braggot you made? It was really good. I would highly recommend, if you have the capabilities to make a braggot, to go for it, because one, a braggot is a really interesting kind of mead, or kind of, oh, hold on. I gotta fix my siphon. There we go. This one bottle is going to have to be, oh no, again. I've got too much weight on the siphon. Okay. Try this one more time, hopefully without spilling. Okay. This bottling has been a little bit of a disaster so far tonight. It's unfortunate. Braggot. The braggot was really good, and if you have the capabilities to get like a beer kit or buy any beer supplies, I would highly, highly recommend making it. I'm trying to think. Oh, I have a video finished on it. However, it is not out yet because basically I just haven't released it. It's one of those things that I will release soon. Now I'm filling it very slow. But it's very, very good. I would highly recommend trying it if you can. This bottle is filling up so slow. Blackberry mead exploded on me once, stained my ceiling. Yeah, you got to be really careful, especially if you don't properly stop a mead in its fermentation. You can end up with some poor things. Let's see. Sorry, I'm focused on bottles. I know that feeling. I just got my first 2 batches last month after watching your videos. That's awesome. What did you make, Pimp Master? How did the jalapeno mead come out? It is very, very good. It's been just sitting, frankly. I haven't done anything with it. It's been sitting in a couple different bottles. I plan on doing a video over it soon to talk about it. I did taste it the other day, and I decided that I like the spice of the capsule smell, or however you say it, but it definitely needs that honey to round out the character, the flavor, and really make it into a mead that's more enjoyable. I think if somebody who had never tried mead before tried it, they would be overwhelmed with how weird it is, frankly. But if it had some warm honey character to it, it could be just fine. What's your favorite mead flavors you made? The peppermint that I'm currently bottling was really good. Is really good, I should say. I've liked my blueberry. Apple cinnamon, probably one of my favorite ones to make so far. What else? The braggot turned out really good. Blackberry braggot. What else? What else? Have I put that out yet? Yes. So, like I said, I have a backlog of videos. And so I have finished like the chocolate and vanilla that I put the cacao nibs in. That one is really, really good. I would highly recommend making it. What do you prefer using flavor-wise? Mead flavoring. My friend is making big mead. We're deciding how we're going to go about it. Fruit is best. You get the natural, true flavors. I would recommend that. Have you ever used PBW for cleaning? If so, how does it work? It works great. Most all of these bottles, these have been, I say recycled. Basically, I just took the labels off of them and used PBW. It was super easy because PBW takes off labels after you soak for a little while. It's super simple. I've got each month. How long are you aging and then bottled? Aging for probably 6 to 8 months and then bottling if I can. If it's a braggot, it's a short-lived thing, I can go ahead and bottle after maybe 2 months. Gaming channel, hello. Why mead? Have you brewed other things? I have done beer before, and actually a little spoiler for you, I have done a wine as of recently, so that will be coming out very soon. Be looking out for that. Did you use K-Meta before bottled? No, I have not. This is finished fermenting, and it is fine. Made a braggot. Blew my lid off the 5-gallon. Yeah, they go a little crazy if you don't have a big enough bucket. You should have put something into it. Cucumber into it. Take meads. Maybe I'll send you last. Yeah, feel free to send me. There's a P.O. box. Not actually down in the description. I forgot to put that information in there, unfortunately. But I will try to get that as soon as I can. To use oak for aging. I have used oak cubes. I've used oak chips. What else have I used? I've used bourbon soaked oak cubes, and those are really good. I would highly recommend trying that. Painting my dining room with alcohol. What about a coffee mead? Coffee mead is one of those things that's on my list of things to do, and I really want to do it right, which means just trying it, frankly. Are you making any profit from the hobby? Not really. It's definitely a little bit of a money sucker, that's for sure. I am working on a mocha coffee mead. Interesting. Cold brew the coffee and add a cacao powder, waiting for tasting. That's super interesting. Cold brew mocha. What's your opinion on using raisins? Don't do it. They're not a nutrient, not a true nutrient that will actually do much. They kind of have some properties of health, but frankly not enough to help a big mead. Maybe if you have a gallon of mead and you throw 5 handfuls of raisins in, you might get the nutrients you need. Use pectic enzyme? No, I have not. It is clear. This is natural clearing. No pectic enzyme. Nothing. I've got 3 after. Hey, well, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Trying to multitask here. Made a mead hito recently. Hey, Kyle. Ran into the mouthwash flavor. Yeah, man, I would love to try that. My spearmint mead, I tried it the other day, and actually, I've kept the whole thing because I was like, maybe it will not be that bad, and kind of hopefully, very hopefully, just wishing upon a star that it will kind of sort its life out. But who knows if it actually will. Okay. Gotta do a little switcheroo. Okay. Goodness. 2 of these bottles are kind of toast because they got really yeasty from my last explosion. So I'm sorry I won't be able to answer your questions. I'm trying to move some stuff around. Without any more terrible things happening, like this is about to be a problem. Goodness gracious. Okay, hold on. Let's see where I'm at. Do you use wine corks or screw caps? I use wine corks. Actually, behind me right now is my Italian floor corker, and I'll be corking all of my wine bottles with it. All the ones. I like the floor corker. It's a little excessive if you don't do a lot of corking, frankly. But I recently, like I said, got into some wine. And so I'm going to have a big batch of wine to put away soon, which will definitely need to be put into wine bottles, because obviously wine does not go in beer bottles. Let's see. Recently cold steep chocolate. High sweetness. Interesting. Thanks for the videos. I learned a ton. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate that. Speaking of the P.O. Box, I'll send some of those meads in like 2 weeks. Thank you so much. I am excited to try those. Part of my problem here is that I'm trying to hold this siphon from catching all of the yeast that are at the bottom of this currently, but it means that I'm one hand down. There we go. Maybe that works. All right, where am I at now? I made a black raspberry coffee hydromel. Whoa, that is a lot. Black raspberry coffee hydromel. Whew, that is a ton. It sounds like it could be really interesting, though. I'd be curious to see what that tastes like, because I have no frame of reference for what that would taste like, frankly. Tried making mead with maple syrup. I have not. That's called an Acer Glen, and it is another type of mead. That's really good. I've heard a lot of people have a lot of great success with it, frankly. I just have not done it yet. Again, on my long list of meads to make in the future that I've yet to make. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. However, I don't know if I'm smart enough to figure it out. Maybe one day. Sorry, I'm a little distracted by trying to not make a bigger mess than I've already made. Okay. Peppermint mead sounds good. It is very good. I meant to pour myself some, but I honestly wouldn't be able to drink it if I wanted to right now, because I'm so distracted trying to keep this thing from falling apart, from falling over. And now we get to the tricky part at the bottom of this huge carboy. Got to figure out how to get all of this out. Especially one-handed siphoning does not work. Oh my lord. All right, this is going to be another yeast bottle. I got to get started. This is a two-person job. And I'm not two people. One little pro tip for you, if you're looking to bottle your mead, is to have a hose that is not 400 feet long. Because wow, this is disastrous. Maybe. I will end up probably separating out these last few bottles into the ones that need some help, that need some time, that I might end up drinking myself because they are going to be a little yeasty. Even with me avoiding it at all cost, it's just not happening tonight. All right, I've missed a lot. What got you into making mead? A few friends of mine, history reenactment. I got into making mead because I wanted to brew something, and I honestly was looking at beer, and then there were some things about beer that I didn't want to deal with, like buying a camp stove and whatnot. And honestly, I found out about mead, and I thought mead was really interesting and really easy, so I just left it to what it was and tried it, and it's pretty good. I missed a question. I'm sorry, I can't get to it right now. My hands are covered in peppermint mead. Any tips on cheap honey? If you can afford to do it, go ahead, or plan to, I should say. Plan to use a lot of it. I would go with the Dutch Gold route of things because Dutch Gold does a large quantity of honey for pretty cheap. So it's easy, and that's what I do. And I've never been steered wrong, frankly, by them. I'm actually needing to buy another big ol' 60-pound pail of honey because I just used the last of my, the one I currently have, on something else. So, whoop. Yeah, see this bottle right here is not going to be a good one. Very, very yeasty. Maybe. But it'll almost be full. Okay. Where am I at? Could be wrong though. Failed pumpkin spice got me thinking about oddities. Could be fermented, fun tip, and nerds. Man, that is definitely an oddity. I think it's probably fermentable. I do wonder if there are some preservatives in nerds or something to where, or fun dip to where they would not want the yeast to have some problems. I'm not sure. If you try it, let me know. I will gladly see if that works. Watch you try it, and if it works, I might try it myself. If it's crazy, I don't know. You can be a test dummy and let me know. Okay. Yeah, I've got a couple bottles in here that are not going to be too friendly. That's a very yeasty bottle. This is a very yeasty bottle. And this guy is very yeasty. So only three of quite a bit. I've got a half bottle here for whatever reason. So I'm actually just going to break the rules of bottling real fast. And I haven't had any yet myself, so this is my own mead. All right. Oh, sorry, I have missed so many different things. Maybe you should invest in a bucket with a spigot. I think that that's probably the best thing for me to do next, and I will try that. You can get cheap honey from Costco. Yes, there's a Costco, like a 5-pound thing of honey for like 10 or 12 bucks, something like that. I've got some that I need to use. Somebody sent me some mead, and then he so graciously, I should say, also included a big old thing of honey from Costco, and it's really good. All right, I'm gonna review this live right now, and I've had it, of course, myself before, but this is room temp, but it's still gonna be good. Just smell like it. You get the peppermint heavy smell. That's actually really good. I like the beginning side of the candy cane. When you taste it, you immediately get hit by the peppermint. That sweetness is there. And even with the tea that I added, because this was a lot of peppermint tea, excuse me, a lot of peppermints and all that stuff, it was so sweet that I added almost a 30 to 40% ratio of peppermint tea to it to try and bring it down. And I mean, it probably brought the ABV down to 14% because it was heavy, 18% before. But it did bring that sweetness from being so dessert wine sweet to now being a appreciable level of sweetness that is really good. You get the nice peppermint taste. It's really refreshing. Definitely a holiday drink. And I would probably gonna have to store some of them back and just try that later. How long is the process from start to bottom now? For this one specifically, I wish I had my reference to my beginning notes. I want to say this one is at least 6 months old from the time I started it to now. So around that time, 6 months-ish. I'm gonna move a couple things, including all of my giant mess. Goodness. That's gonna be a sticky floor. Let's see. Sparkloids, great. How long is the process? Got it. Put those bottles in yeast. Yes, the yeast will fall out. And Viking, that is a great suggestion. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the fridge. I'll go ahead and cork them, fridge it, and then drink. What other meads are you planning on doing? Currently, let's see what I have in stock. I want to do another hydromel. I've decided that after my first hydromel failure, I don't want to give up on it. I feel like I learned kind of what I did wrong, which now enables me to hopefully do something right with it and not have the same problem I did. Part of my problem was using what are they? Strawberries. They had their own problems. Oh my gosh, their own problems. I left this canning thing over here and knocked over a bottle. Strawberries had weird fermenting problems that I didn't really know how to stop. I won't try that again. I will definitely try something different. I haven't figured out yet what I want to make. But I do have plans to try another hydromel. I would love to do an Acer Glen, the maple syrup based mead. I think that would be very, very good as well. Different kind of flavor, which would be interesting to try. I'm excited to try that one at some point. Those are some of mine. My meads. Have you tried any European mead over here in England? Polish meads are supposed to be some of the best. I actually haven't. Here's my problem being in the US and unfortunately, but fortunately in Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma, as great as it is. They have very little mead, and they don't, like if I get online to like buy mead from some of these meaderies that do ship, they don't ship to Oklahoma. So I'm very limited, and that's where traveling will help me some. But I would love to be able to try other meads. It's just going to take some traveling / help from people buying meads when they go out, and which would be nice. But a European mead, that will be a very hard one for me to get because I wish I could go over to Europe right now, but I can't. A little limited on that world. Let's see. You can look at strawberry juice puree. Yeah, I don't. Purees are interesting. I like purees, but maybe it was my mango puree that kind of made things weird for me at the beginning. When I first started making mead, I wanted to try a mango mead. So what I did was made a traditional, and then I put a whole can of mango puree in it, and it just wasn't very strong. It could have been my proportions. Like I said, probably was my fault. But from then on, I've kind of been like, oh, I don't know how I feel about purees, ultimately. Need to try making prickly pear mead. I'm sure you can get, yes. Actually had somebody, the same person who sent me the the Costco honey also included a prickly pear mead, and it was really good. I would love to try it at some point. Try making it myself. I really enjoyed it. Total Wine. I got lost now. Made a maple flavored sake. Wow. Tastes like lemon pancakes? What? That's weird, but sounds interesting. Finishing up a mead that was made eucalyptus, grove, honey, no menthol. Flavor, just nice warm sensation. Man, that sounds good. Get the meads. Yeah. You guys are making some cool meads, which is, I mean, I'm kind of envious of some of the stuff you guys are making, because it is very ambitious for one, but also it does sound very good. All right, so here's my plan. I need to go ahead and cork the ones that are here. So I have my floor corker in front of me, and I need to get a couple corks ready to be used. So the way I do this, I use synthetic corks because I like them a lot. They're super easy to deal with. I put a little water in here, put a little Star San solution, take my cork, and really just let it get wet. Floor corker is awesome. I am a big, big fan of it because it's one of the easiest things to use, ultimately. It takes no time at all. When you get the cork wet, it slides down really easy, and these seal super well. So, I'm a big fan of both synthetic corks and the floor corker. I use grabber or cargo. I've never heard of that before. There we go. Let's see, lemon pancakes. Have you ever freeze distilled one of your meads? I have not. That sounds interesting though. What's the difference between doing that and just normally dealing with your meads? That's something I have no idea about, to be very frank. I'm currently making some root beer mead. I was inspired from Not Your Father's Root Beer. That's a good root beer for one, but that also sounds like it could be very good. A root beer mead. Honestly, stuff like that is, I'm not going to say crowd pleaser, but people, who said it? Somewhere in the world I've heard sweetness sells. And I think that's true. Sweetness, people want sweetness. People want the thing that's going to hit their palate easiest. And when I say people, I'm giving a general consensus, which is terrible for me to say that, but it's true in the respect that all of the friends that I have introduced mead to, or brought my own mead to, or whatever, they always ask what it's the same as, and depending on what you give them, they're kind of, some people expect sweetness, unless you start to go and say, this is kind of like wine. If you say it's like wine, they have a great reference for if it's supposed to be dry, then of course it'll be a dry thing and they won't be as surprised by that. Still missing people, sorry. You should look at, use a bucket with tap, spigot, bottle, save you a lot of waste and mess. Yeah. Well, my only problem is that I just don't want to oxygenate in any way. I'm a little afraid of that. But if it doesn't oxygenate, that's great. It's just as illegal to freeze distilled spirits. Does using unheated honey affect taste? I think that when you start to heat honey to a certain extent, you run into the issue that the honey starts to lose some of its specific characters in the honey, and characters, I say, flavors is really what I'm trying to say. And that's up to like boiling temperatures. So if you just heat it up a little bit, it's not that bad. It doesn't affect it. Using non-pasteurized. Okay. All right, so my next step is to go ahead and now I need to go ahead and cap the rest of these, including these little small 178s. Is that what they are? Something like that. They're needing to be capped because corking them takes away some of the space. There we go. I'm using red because candy canes, red caps. I love this capper, and I finally took the time to attach it to something so it works a little better. Basically, it's very simple. I'll turn it this way so it's a little easier to see. But just push down and done. And then keep going. How can you get mead to be more clear? Depends on what you're doing. Lots of times when you use fruits that are high in pectic, and pectic is a thing that's in like lots of apples and pears and fruits like that. Goodness. You can use pectic enzyme prior to fermenting, and that helps to get the pectic to be lighter, which means that ultimately the what is happening here right now? Somehow I double capped, which makes me wonder if this one's even capped, and it's not. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. Pectic enzyme helps with that, and there's also things like Easy Clear, and that's another powder. Bentonite is a great one as well. I've used bentonite before. The only problem is that bentonite can start to strip flavors, and when you strip flavors, of course, you start to sacrifice things, which is not always good. What else is there? You can what's it called? So I can't think what that's called. Filter your beer or mead through like a micron system, and micron systems they cost some money for one. That's why I haven't done it. It's very expensive, but they will clear up your beer down to like your mead down to certain microns. It's really easy. Oh, missing a lot of stuff. Do you have any preference between using corks or caps? Is it available in your inventory? I use corks for the ones I have to cork, like wine bottles, and I prefer caps because, frankly, they're easier to take off, easier to put on, and they're cheaper. You can buy a whole lot of caps for cheap, but you can't buy a whole lot of corks, at least the ones I use for very cheap. The synthetics can be a little expensive if you're doing a ton, but I do like synthetic corks because they are very easy to use, and you don't have to store anything on its side. Generally, when you use real corks, if you don't store it the right way, you can run the risk of the wine or mead or whatever is in it going bad, which is, it happens, but I'd rather minimize that, and using synthetic corks helps quite a bit. Ready for work? Third shift. Oh goodness. Hey, thanks for coming in, Goth Gamer. Hope you have a good one. Have a good shift. Appreciate you stopping by. You have a preference? Saw that. Heard egg whites can clear stuff up. I feel like I've heard that. Never tried it. But again, that could be a test. It's kind of fun to try different things while making mead. And now beer, and now wine, and all this. I have about this bottle. I can't tell if it's just, so like I said, some of these are recycled. I think this one's a little hazy, so I'm going to keep it on the side, keep it to the side. Might be one of my own personal ones that I drink. how do you design your labels? Do you go on a website, use Photoshop? I actually paid somebody to design my labels. I found a friend, local to me, and she met up with her, gave her the idea, what I wanted for man-made mead, and she took it and ran with it, and that's how we ended up with our current labels, which maybe I can show you. Maybe. It's this one's like the peppermint one. You can't really see it because of the light, but I like the portrait idea. I also have some other looking labels that are that she designed as well. She did a great job, and I was just very lucky to be able to use her, because if I tried to design my own labels, it would be a whole different. It'd be pretty bad, just frankly. All of these are a little sticky because of my big explosion earlier. I won't be able to put any of the labels on like I'd hoped, because they need to be washed off before I do anything. Almost there. Just a few more. Gelatin? Oh, wait. Are you saying gelatin can be used as a clearing? That seems like it'd be a little weird. I capped these 187s, like I was saying, because it saves some room in the actual bottle itself, which is nice when you're trying to maximize space. And I think this is the last one. Did we get them all? These two are for me to drink because they're a little yeasty. All right. What do you recommend for people who want to design their own beer, like the labels? Mitchell, what would I say? Man, I can't speak into that much. I don't have a lot of artistic design in me. I feel like I make mead and I can make music and do that stuff, but the artsy drawing, nowhere near my stuff. I would pay somebody to do it if you can. Find a friend, or maybe get online, just try your own hand at it. You don't have to do anything fancy. I'm just doing this because I have the ability to right now, which is nice, and she gave me the labels so I can alter them as I need to for future meads, which is nice. What am I? Okay, well, I have a big problem in that I have so much stickiness on bottles, on my floor, on this chair, all this, that I really need to clean up. And I appreciate you guys stopping in and hanging out. And I'm sorry that it wasn't the best angle in the world. I'm not sure how to get the angle with this, but I like getting to talk to you guys. I hope that I've informed you with something. And one thing I encourage you to do is go out and tell other people about mead. If you're making meads, give other people your mead to try, so they have a frame of reference for what it is, and they might find a desire for it in themselves to buy it or make it. One of those two. But be the big mead ambassadors that we need to be, and I appreciate that. So thank you guys for stopping by. It's so great to get to do this, and I love being able to talk to you guys. I can't believe that we are almost 4,500 subscribers, and one way you can help me out big time, because I have big plans for 5,000 that might include some live stream element to it, that I want us to be able to get there and be able to do that as soon as we can. So share, whether it be this video, other videos, tell people about the channel, and let's get to 5,000 as soon as we can, and then I will gladly, we'll keep growing and growing and do some fun things. So, all right, lots of stuff to clean. So appreciate you guys stopping by, and I hope you have a great night, and cheers. Oh, I should say cheers with my yeasty peppermint mead.